welcome to your Wake Up Women series. I am Priyanka Bhatia from Women on Wealth, and today we are going to be Priyanka Squared because with me coming today for the Wake Up Women series is Priyanka Parti. She works at Amazon and she is a brilliant Women on Wealth investor. She thinks that every woman needs to be working, earning her own money and really growing her finances. And she thinks whether you are married, unmarried, whatever age you are, single, you are divorced, whichever place you are in, you need to be managing your own finances because that's critical. So I'm all set to listen to her and her story, how she grew up to be this woman that she is today. So let's see if she is here around with us. Yes, Priyanka. Awesome. Hey, Pooja. Hi. Everybody who's around, do acknowledge your presence. I have sent the request to Priyanka. Okay, you joined in. Finally, you made it.
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
I changed devices.
Awesome, Priyanka. Say that again. You were saying something.
I changed devices. Can you hear me better?
Yes, very well. Thank you so much for showing up and warm welcome to your Wake Up Women series at Women on Wealth. Please share a bit about yourself, Priyanka.
All right. Firstly, warm welcome to you, like you always say. And it's
Thank you.
And in your word, it's a privilege to be here and share my story with all my fellow ladies. And a little bit about myself. Hi, I'm Priyanka. I am 37 years old. I have a kid and I'm a single parent, and I work in a tech company. I run a business across digital, and today's challenge was a bit ironic about that because I lead Amazon's digital advertising. So that's pretty much about myself.
Awesome. So you work at Amazon, you're a single parent, 37-year-old, and all ready to share your story. Tell us a bit more. How was life growing up, Priyanka? And yes, before we move forward, I want to say, guys, I've always had so many women around me named Priyanka that it's not funny. But today, for the first time after 10 years at Women on Wealth, I'm having a Priyanka on the Wake Up Women series. So that's brilliant. I think this is really record breaking. So on that note, Priyanka, please begin. Please share. How was your childhood? How did you grow up to be who you are? And where are you now? And what were the challenges you faced financially? So yeah, completely over to you.
All right. So I was born and brought up in New Delhi, and I had both my parents working. So I had a working mother who was generating income of her own, and my father decided to retire very, very early in life.
Okay.
So I've been around in sixth standard. So I have seen my mother working post sixth standard till about her tenure. So I had a very well educated parents who knew about money. And my first basic instincts or introduction to money was the money that we get during Diwali, during Rakhi, during Kanjak, during all that money that you get. And now you need to decide will you go ahead and buy banta from it, or will you buy toffees from it, or what do you want to do with it? So I always had this lineage of grandparents giving money to the younger children, and parents giving money on Lodi and special festival where you would end up getting certain money. So
Right.
my image of money was more or less about something about joy. It was always that buy things with money and it will give joy. And
Right.
I also learned, because I had a sister who had taught me that you have only 5 coins, and she had only 5 coins and I had one note. So she said that 5 coins is much more. Take my 5 rupees and give me your 100 rupees. So and those were the early days of not knowing how currency works, and I would trade it. And she was elder to me 4 years, so she would happily take it away. And then later on, I realized I am in loss. So I need to get to the basics right from a very childhood stage, because we would get
Right.
good amount of money, and growing up, I think it was just a part of joy. It was not about investing. We were given gullaks, or we were given piggy banks. We would store it, and it was a combined money thing where we would go and buy stuff, usually what she required, and I was just a money investor, probably is what you can think of, in her little mischiefs that she could do. So that's pretty much how I grew up about money. But my parents, when I was in 12th standard, we were always a little tight. I thought we were always okay, middle class, and I decided, and I requested my mom that she's not been there with me, so why and there was a voluntary retirement scheme when I was in 12th standard. She said, should I take it, not take it? She did her calculations, and she was good at investing. I had no clue about it, but she knew about stocks. She knew about everything that we can think of that is taught in the
Wow.
course. And interestingly, my grandfather was the chief of LIC.
Okay.
So, but money was never talked in terms of schemes in our house. It was mostly to do with something that kids can empower with, or pocket monies, all of that. Life changed when I would always get a lot of money from Rakhi, and
Right.
we would tie a lot of Rakhis to our mamas and our fathers.
Right.
So my mother's brothers as well as our father. And when we would get it, immediately after that was my college admission. So for the first time, what I did was I had about 4,000 rupees, and Delhi University first year fees was 4,000 rupees. So I got that entire money and put it on. And not that my parents asked or anything, but I just wanted to utilize it better. That's all.
Right.
No
Right.
about it. And I felt that first high that I could educate my first year with my own Rakhi money, because it was just such a small amount, right? And Delhi University didn't cost that much. So I did that in the second year, then I did that in the third year, and it really became, so money changed from joy to pride. Something that I can, that people will feel proud of, something that
Right.
I will have a lot of praise about, and
Right.
something that will give me a little bit edge over others. So I think
Ah.
that transitioned
Right.
well early on for me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow. I wanna really take a little break here. This is a little unusual thinking that I would like to really acknowledge you for, Priyanka, because how many of us, I think all of us, right, received cash gifts as children, but very few of us actually use that money well, or really sat down ever, even in our adulthood, to really look at what we thought money was. Right? So how you have managed to interpret that, yeah, at one point it was joy, it became pride, and then, yeah, a little bit of ego also somewhere came in, that, hey, I did it. So yeah, and these are all human emotions, right? I mean, you, everybody has them.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really, these two things are just so unique about you, because all of us receive money, but not many of us really do something about it. I think I was really selfish as a child, because when I got a lot of pocket money from my dad. Like, my dad was a generous guy, and is a generous guy, and I think he trusted me really well with money. So whenever I needed money, even beyond the pocket money, I got it, and the only thing I was doing was stashing it. So I think these unique words, and look at that lesson from your sister.
Yeah.
Wow. I think the younger one does get bullied. That's not new. I mean, the younger one getting bullied, but she was quite an intelligent one to, kind of give you a logic that you could buy into and say, oh, she has a point.
Yeah.
And trade that 100 rupees for 5 rupees is wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually, if I must confess, I have had a very interesting journey with money, and maybe not a regular journey,
Right.
because Because my mother retired early and my father retired way earlier. So I was
Right.
at my college when none of my parents were working, but my sister was working, right?
Um,
And so I always thought that the financial security did not have any gender in my house. There was no gender because I always saw both parents working and I saw my
right.
mother in financial charge almost everywhere. So
Right.
that whole distinction or that whole struggle was that women don't control money or don't earn money or don't invest money was just out of the question. It was thrown out of the window completely for me and my sister both,
Wow.
because that's how we saw at,
Right.
and that's what this generation's kid will see because there are so many women working right now. But that's, I think that's what really helped me to acknowledge from my mother's side. But she didn't teach us anything about investing.
Yeah.
She was just there as a role model. We saw that money had no gender, and and there was no second thought that when you get married or when you will have a kid you will be at home. That question didn't strike me because I have seen a working parent, so it just was very natural that you will continue to work and you will continue to be self-sufficient and self-independent. And especially if you live in a house where both parents are working, you somehow learn to depend on yourself because there's not many people to look after you. There is a very good working system, but I think it their management style per se really helped me to become independent very early on that age. First,
Wow.
mom being working, and second, she retiring. So, here's your baton. Now it's your turn. Now your turn to start and
Right.
complete education. So that's pretty much how my childhood conditioning was.
Right, right. That's a little unique, I would say, because I'm 36. We're almost the same age.
Yeah.
And yeah, like when I was in school, college, I didn't have many friends whose moms were really working. So yeah, I think yeah, I had just one or two neighbors whose moms were like really, like they were like another one of my own neighbors. She was really working in one of the big insurance companies. So yeah, I can just so connect with it. Such few women role models, and thank goodness she was right here in your house, because then money actually had no gender, which is, I think it's a delight. To honestly telling you, it's really a delight listening to this. That okay, there is someone who's telling me okay that money has no gender. I love it. Okay, to my ears it's music,
Yeah.
because oh my God, the number of times like gender and money come together, it is not crazy at all. So go ahead, Priyanka, please share more, while I'm also looking at some of the comments. I think you must also listen to some of the comments before we move forward. So Tejal is saying she totally agrees with you. Kids learn a lot seeing their parents working and managing all with the striking balance. Absolutely, Tejal. Kanika is saying, yeah, money has no gender. What a strong point. Absolutely, Kanika. Tasha, this is so refreshing to hear. So I think all of us are connecting with this thought. If you don't get smart with money, someone out there could outsmart you and you wouldn't even know. I think that's for your sister that Sheetal is saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and actually, honestly, if you see, we all depend on husband, broker, father, advisor, somebody else to manage. But, here, just with your sister's example, we can see that if we don't become smart, really nothing is going to happen. Honestly, nothing. So yeah, I think that's good one. Okay. Abhishek is here cheering you. Awesome. Abhishek, welcome. Okay. Pooja, you can so relate to that. You would collect up to 20,000 rupees during Rakhi and you would give it all to your dad because you don't know what to do about it. Yes. God, I never gave my money away, but I just kept stashing it. I was also very intelligent. I never spent it also. So I was like, Pavitra is saying consistently, I'm hearing how the younger ones are more of the savers than the older ones. Yeah, Pavitra, really? Is the older sibling, the younger sibling also the thing? Kanika is saying working parents is a lifelong blessing for time management. Oh yeah, a lot of it. Go ahead. Priyanka, meanwhile, there are many more comments, but I think it is time we hear you more. So then what? What's more? What's next? So your college is done. Now
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, so now interestingly, I saw that my both my parents have retired and my sister started to earn, and she started to earn pretty early and
Uh-huh.
pretty well. So that
Okay.
whole base of a girl not being able to earn money was also thrown out of the window, because in those days she used to earn 50,000, and 50,000 right now would be 5 lakhs or something like that
Right.
in my brain. And also, as a younger sibling, you try to idealize your elder sibling. You always think they are the superhero of some sort. So
Right.
I thought, the day I reach 50,000 per month salary, that means I am half lakh pati already. And that was my target, right? And my first
Right.
starting salary was around 8,500 rupees per month, while her salary was around 50,000 rupees. Now it's
Wow.
8,000, 50,000, and she was just 4 years elder to me.
Okay.
So so that
Wow.
whole mission, the second piece of earning well kicked in because of my sister, because I saw her earning well. So I knew that there is no limit or capacity to how much money is available in the market. and
Right.
and and there is no dearth. If you work hard, you have talent. So that's the second thing that I learned. So first, I learned from my mom that money had no gender. Second, I
Mm-hmm.
learned money is not limited, because my sister really started to earn very well.
Right.
And uh, and I felt that now the game is up to me. And interestingly, so when I started my career, uh, uh, I was either lucky or worked hard and got very early promotions in my life. so
Oh,
uh, so at 28 or so, I became an AVP of a firm. And here I was, a 28-year-old person, and I was always trying to save money for either I will try to do an MBA, and then something would come up because my sister would get married. So I would try and give a lot of money in that direction. But I was always had a blockage in terms of where to invest it. There's no zero knowledge. I knew that there's a
okay.
lot of money to be made. I knew that you can manage a lot of money. And my parents didn't ask any money from me from that time. They said, this is your bank account. And for the first 2 years I started to work, I didn't operate an ATM machine. I just said, everything will come up, it will keep stacking itself up, and at the end of the year I'll have the whole CTC, and I will become a
Right.
lakpati, is what I thought, right? In the mere 3 lakh rupees CTC that we would have. So that's what my aim was. I didn't operate an ATM, and I took pocket money from my parents, even at that point in time, in spite of being, and they were okay. So my mom would say, okay, for taxation, do NSC. So I could hear those old terms of NSCs, FDs, that there's something like that, but everything was related to tax saving. That why do you want to
Right.
do it? You don't want to reach a tax slab, right? So she would get in a manner that if you continue to save NSCs, then later on you can continue to receive the interest for NSCs.
Right.
I mathematically I understood all that calculation, but when I was 28 and I had about 7 lakh rupees in my bank account saved, and I had moved from Delhi to Bangalore for a job. And I always knew that I did all my education in Delhi, so there was no point of going to a hostel or changing cities. But I always wanted to take risks. I felt that I always wanted to explore as much as I can, and I had this urge of, before I want to turn 30, I want to be independent. And independent in my brain did not mean a marriage and kids. Independent actually meant that you should be able to run the house.